What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Summer Career Mode. It is episode number 43. We are back. It is a brand new season as our 6th year at the base gets underway. Our 4th in the top flight, and for the first time ever going to the Champions League. And our starting transfer budget. Why am I even getting my hopes up, man? Our starting transfer budget. We're going to have over 20 mil this season, board? Oh, okay, there we go. I should have got my hopes up. £75 million. It's in modern day football, when you consider where we are right now and the stature we've risen this club to, it's still a little on the low side when you consider everything. But considering what we've been working with, I think that's more than our last 3 transfer budgets combined. So I will take it. Thank you, board. So we're going to advance one day in the calendar just so we can see the loan deal of Pinto go through, as I've just agreed to loan him out, and we see the departures of 3 of the OGs from Season 1 who were with us for the journey but didn't really do much. Kelvin Ehibahi Toman, who to be fair was one of our top scorers in League 1 after the Sam Smith debacle. God, that feels like it was so long ago. I guess it was really. Kelvin Abrief has gone to Oviedo, and Kamara has also left as well. So looking at the team for the new season, to be fair, I need to keep on clarifying. When I do talk about the budgets, it's a good thing. Like, it adds to the challenge, number one, but also it's realistic. We know Reading have got those financial problems, so yeah, I don't really mind it as much as I might appear to be making out. But looking at the team, I said for the new season, my number one target was the DM area. Tapia is now 32, down to 79 overall due to the various injuries he's had over the past 12 to 18 months. I said on the right hand side, I wouldn't mind a new winger to replace Femi Aziz as well, someone who can step in from that flank. Espria last season balled out, so I don't feel like I need to replace him, but that's probably my main concern, I would say. DM, and possibly on the bench, maybe a backup fullback with a bit more quality than CJ, Egan Riley. But for the most part, I like the team. Going into the Champions League, again, it's still quite a youthful team. Yes, we do have some seniors, like I said, like with Tapia, O'Shea, McGree, obviously Luke O'Nine, who I think will be retiring, but for the most part, I still do quite like the team. I don't think we need to make major wholesale changes to the squad. I think we just now need, if we're going to make the next step, one star player adding to the team. We will have some contract issues. I'll be sorting them out in a moment, including for Bennett as well. I'll let you know if he's finally had that deserved potential upgrade as Haynes retains his exciting prospect tag, or whether he stays at showing great potential. But yeah, I'll let you know. And there you go. So, wow, Luke isn't retiring. Guy, mate, hang it up. Hang the boots up, son. Honestly, you play garbage time now. I want to keep you till retirement, but in this case, I'm just going to sell you. Renato's not retiring either. He's out of contract on the end of the season. I might actually sell Renato. That's a big call, man. I do think he'll get 80 during the season, but he's also due to turn 33 as well. I might actually cash in knowing we've got Charlie Savage on the bench, who isn't that much worse, and the young lad Patrick Oakley as well. As Felix Bishop has a potential downgrade. That's my fault for not loaning him out last season. But yeah, looking forward to the new season. Good to have a decent amount of money for the first time ever. As Wilhelma doesn't have a potential upgrade. That's a bit of a shame. But yeah, 75 mil. We'll see what we can do with it. But again, I think we're probably limited to 1, possibly 2 new signings for this new season. And as for the contract issues, yeah, this is an awkward one, because with Luke Cundle, I'm probably just going to let him go. But for Renato Tapia, what do we do with the Peruvian? Well, Kanaya has been our loyal backup goalkeeper since Season 1. First it was for Joel Pereira, and then Bennett. He's remained as the backup for the American for all these years, but never once complained. I love that. Homegrown out of the academy, so he'll be staying as our backup goalkeeper. I'm going to give one to that young Portuguese winger who's been out on loan at Swansea, developed really nicely now to 76 overall now. That is Rodriguez. And one to Bennett as well, of course. I'll let you know if he's had a potential upgrade. But as for Cundle, again, I'll probably let him go into Pia. I'm not sure, man. He's the new season. We love Renato, but I think he might have just played his final year for the club. I guess we'll see. So heading into that new season, for those curious about the homegrown players, well, Kanaya is of course 1, Jake Cooper is 2. I believe Binden counts, so that would be 3. Reggie would now be 4, so we obviously already got the amount we need, but also as well as a couple others who I believe would count. One is Femi Aziz, I believe he counts, so that would be 5. And Wilhelma, I believe, is going to turn 22 during the season, and that would make 6. We're okay for homegrown players. don't need to sign any more to meet the criteria. But you know me, I love to collect them like Infinity Stones, man. I want all the homegrown players, so I still would consider bringing in someone else. For my number one target, you know who that is. It is a homegrown player in Michael Elise, but I just don't think we have enough money to bring him in. Leipzig are still a Champions League side. I think I did use him last year in FIFA 23 in a Crystal Palace career mode. And I think he's going to be just slightly out of our budget. I might see what Leipzig, like what they want. Just test the water a little bit here. We've got a month and a half to go before the window slams shut. So might as well just see what Leipzig are actually asking for here. But I think we're going to fall short. Again, 70 mil budget with wage budget considerations, probably more like 67.5. That's already 17 mil under the market valuation. We'd have to include a player in the swap deal. There's not many I'm willing to part with. If I was to swap out Renato, for example, we still probably wouldn't have enough. So I think for this season, at least I did not 65 grand. Well, I don't know exactly how much Leipzig value I'm at, but I think it's a bit more than that. But yeah, I said since the save began, I wanted to bring this guy back. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be this season. No way. 190 mil. Absolutely no way. I don't think Elise will be returning this year. As we see a few of my targets have interest. We do see a bid there for Dara Rocher, the Magpies, who were relegated last season. Wouldn't be against a one and done for Dara. Came in, was solid until we recalled Owen Haynes. But I do like him as a backup CB. I'm trying to. Is there a way we could raise enough money to bring in Elise? That's what I would really want to do, but I don't think we could. So with that being the case, I might as well just keep him. Here. There's no point in selling someone who I do have plans to use, especially now we're going into the Champions League as well. Yeah, I would say personally, let's just go after a really solid DM to replace Renato. Now 32 as well. Have been flirting with the idea of pushing Haynes back to CDM. If you remember when he came out of the academy, he was officially a CDM, but it would take him at least a year to become one. So with that being the case, I like him as the partner for Tyler Binden, the captain. So I'm going to go after a new DM. That's where I'm going to spend most of my money this season. That was the plan anyway. There's several names on the shortlist. I had been contemplating, I'm not going to lie, going after Zaire Emery with Nottingham Forest, who are now back in the Premier League, but yeah, we're a Champions League side now. Forest are only back in the top tier. But again, like with Elise, the problem is he's just valued a bit too high, and I don't think that's going to drop for at least another year or two. Got Pablo Barrios, who was relegated with Brighton last season. Douglas Luiz and Guimar Reyes, who were both relegated with Newcastle, and a Roz as well. But they're more... I mean, Guimar Reyes and Douglas Luiz maybe, but maybe not a Roz. He'd be better as CAM. I think I'm mostly looking, again, if we continue to look for younger players, at the two lads that were relegated last season with... Who was it? It was Bournemouth. You got Lucas Gornaduaf and Mandela Keita. I don't think I've used either of them before. Lucas is 2 years younger than Keita. Keita is a rating higher, but I think looking at the stats here, Mandela just appears to be slightly better than Lucas in practically all areas apart from passing and going forward dribbling wise. I'd say that probably Lucas is slightly better with the passing and the ball control as well. But other than that, I'd say looking for a good DM to replace Renato long term, Mandela is probably the better option of the two. So I'm going to go after the Belgian, relegated last season. Let's bring him in. Yes, perhaps not my number one target, but definitely a player who would do a job here. And if we can get him for close to market valuation as well, due to Cherry's relegation last season, I would definitely take that. They want a little bit more, but again, this is something I want EA to look into, a more intelligent transfer market. When a player of this quality, in the prime of his career, is relegated to the second tier, okay, on rare occasions, a player will stay in the championship, but most will ask to leave. If not permanently, then at least on loan. I guess we'll see if it's improved for FC25. But yeah, I don't think I have to spend much more than just the market valuation itself. 32.5 mil, and Bournemouth say, yeah, this could be, to be fair, a brilliant deal, because it still leaves us with around 30 million to work with on the back of this signing. We've been using a bit of a moneyball strategy ever since this save began due to Reading's financial problems off the pitch. So I guess if it's led us to an FA Cup, a Premier League title and now playing in the Champions League, why mess with a winning formula, right? It might be taking us a bit longer to get to where we want to get to, but at least we're staying true to our core philosophy. Don't overpay and look for good deals, and this is definitely one as well. Relegated with Bournemouth last season, but returning back to the Premier League. I think it's my first time using him ever, so excited to give him a go. Welcome to the Medeski Stadium. Mandela Keita. Yep, 26 years old, to the prime of his career, 83 overall. I'm not sure how much better he can get. He might grow a rating or two, I guess we'll see. But I love the 88 stamina, the 89 strength, the 89 aggression as well. I like the composure and interceptions to get up a little bit. But defensively, this is what I'm looking for. Just a bit of an upgrade on Renato. You know, Renato's a great defender. Mandela, I would say, is just slightly better. This is what I was looking for. Someone younger, someone slightly better, and someone that can fill in for the Peruvian, whether he stays as a bench player or decides to leave. So yeah, he is in. I might as well keep him on balance, but he'll definitely slot right into the first 11. Renato, Father Time comes for us all. Myself, yourself. Time to take our seat on the bench, young man. And so with our budget dropping to just shy of 38 mil with wage budget considerations, probably more likely to be 35 mil. Yeah, I mean, I've got the DM I wanted. I did want that right mid to replace Aziz, but that's not what you'd call mandatory, if you will. Femi was alright last season. We know we've got McGree, who can fill in there, Nibs, and the young lad Bishop, and Rodriguez, who's just come back from loan as well. So I don't really need to sign one. Just depends on whether I want one or not, I guess. Could maybe look for a third choice goalkeeper for the realism, or maybe a third choice striker, or maybe that backup left back we were asking for. But otherwise, don't need to do anything desperately here. I've got my DM. I wouldn't mind a new right mid, but otherwise, I'm okay. There is a bid for Bishop though. Burnley with 11.2 mil. I think that would be quite a cool little realistic move for him there. But I do have plans for this guy long term, so I'm not letting him go. You can loan him, but you're not buying him. And they said, well, if you want, let's get a Bishop. Can we have Rodriguez instead? Again, I think that would be quite realistic with Burnley's model in recent years. But again, we're going to say no, because I do have plans for this guy long term. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to do now. I don't know what else to do. What wingers could I go for? I mean, Dembele now probably a bit out of our price range. He's obviously 31, so no longer in the prime of his career, but of course relegated last season. Jacob Ramsey, I have used Ramsey before this year, so I think it's probably best not to go after him again. Jamie Bynoe-Gittins, funny enough, I think he did have a year or two in Reading's youth setup, but again, can't afford him. Same with Garnacho as well. Wilson Odobert might be able to scrape that, but I have to sell someone to bring him in. Tough one. I think what I might do is just do a couple more advances, see if we get any bids for our players, but otherwise, you know what, I might just keep that cash and let it carry over, you know. Look at that, that's mental. Helder Pinto has grown 8 ratings since his loan spell. Ludicrous. I think with that being the case, I've got to loan out a couple more of my youngsters. I want to give Afonso or Bishop some game time this season, to be fair. If we don't look for a replacement for Femi, I think Chinedu Davis has had his potential downgrades, is showing great. He should go back out on loan. Eric Mensah is forever alone. Where is he? Where's Eric Mensah? I've lost him. Eric Mensah is forever alone, so I might as well keep loaning him out, because right now that's what's leading to decent development. I could even put him on the wing, you know, to be honest here. Rapid, absolutely rapid. God, this is crazy, man. Like I've got some great young players that could step in to replace it. Is he left-footed as well? That's not a bad shout, that. I might try and loan him out one more time and see how he looks after that. But, and with Bishop, I'm not sure. McGree, I still might actually sell McGree this season. He's got 2 years left on his deal. This is a tough call, man. Not much money to work with now. Got to call this right. Yep, Leicester want to take Chinedu Davis on a 1-year deal. Totally fine with that. I'll try and do a 2-year deal, though. He obviously is a really solid young player, like many we've got here, but they need the game time. Eric Mensah to Bournemouth, yep, totally fine with that as well. Need the game time, and again, it's the loans that are seeing the quickest development for our young players, man. So I think I've said this a few times now, and I'll say it again. I don't like to give that many tips, because I don't believe I'm that good at the game, and I don't believe that I'm as good of a strategist as many other players. I just like to have fun, really. But again, if you do want good growth on your young players, this is the way to do it. You just saw it with Pinto, +8 in like 3 weeks, and that'll be him done for the season for growth. But are you going to get +8 playing him every single game all season long and focusing on development plans? Maybe, but only if you're lucky. For the most part, loaning your players is just, it's just the easiest way to get them up to standard. So there we go, the two young Ghanaians, CAMs, both off out on loan. Eric Mensah and Chinedu Davis to Brentford and Leicester, respectively. We'll keep our eyes on them there. And again, we could keep them here and give them a bit of game time. But you saw last season Felix Bishop and Davis, to be fair, we did give them a bit of game time. And they did okay, but they still have potential downgrades because, like I said, just loaning those players out, man, it's just it's so lopsided in favour of loaning players out for quick growth. It really is the best way to do it. And we do have a bid here for Afonso Rodriguez as well. Celta Vigo want to take him to Galicia, £16.5 million for the Portuguese winger. But again, I'm either going to loan him out or start him this season. But this dude really does look raw to me. He's not quite got the pace of a rapid winger that I would like in this team, but he's got some talent, no doubt about that. Just gave him that contract extension. The passing is really solid, 78 stamina already, 88 crossing, 92 long pass. That is fantastic, man. And again, he might have a rapid play style, but he's not rapid yet, but he's going to get there. He's going to get there, and he can defend a little bit as well. I must say, I'm quite. What I am thinking about doing, I can't tell you why, but I just really like looking at it. What I'm thinking about doing is possibly moving Asprilla over to that right-hand side where he would be better with the left foot regardless. I know he's got the 5-star weak foot, but even so, and then putting Rodriguez in for Femi Aziz. Only 2 ratings lower, but 7 years younger. That's not a bad shout. But do I loan him out instead? It's a tough call, that. Oof, and another bid for Dyer Roche, this time from a Premier League side, Manchester United, who last season had a really tough season, finishing in 9th place. Listen, John O'Shea was sublime for them, so I know they'd like this guy to be just as good as that utility Irishman. I wouldn't be against selling him, to be fair, but could we find someone to replace him? I mean, yes, obviously, but then again, would someone take a rotation squad role? That's the key. Could always get Vandenberg. He's only 2 ratings lower, but several years younger as well. 92 strength. That's not a bad shout, actually. Nathan, who was relegated with Bournemouth. God, we're signing every Bournemouth player, aren't we? Honestly, it's getting a bit ridiculous now. Could even possibly bring in Lucas and then convert him back to a CB at 6'1". I might do that. I might let O'Shea go to Manchester United, you know. I don't know if he's a fan of theirs, but looking up to the great John O'Shea, I think he wouldn't mind that. I think I'm going to negotiate with Manchester United there and say, how much do you want for the Irish International? How much will you pay, I should say? We hold all the cards here because he's still on a 3-year deal, and granted, he's got that crucial squad role, which now that Haynes has returned from his loan spell, he is not. But Manchester United looking to sort their defensive problems out. Obviously, beaten 3-0 on the weekend by Liverpool. I must say, how impressive have they been to start the season off? Arnie Slot there looks like an ideal replacement for Jurgen Klopp. I still think we can get around 25 mil. Granted, I know he's soon to turn 30, but he's a centre half. He's strong. He's still got excellent stats at 80 overall. I don't see why we couldn't. Oh, really? Well, I'm not going to send him for anything less than 20 mil. That's my bare minimum. I mean, this guy is definitely worth that, in my opinion. 23.5 mil. I'm just curious on the budget here, because if we were to sell him, we then probably could go after a new good winger. But wow, Eric, you are... Bro, come on. In 2028 as it is now, are you kidding me? I tell you what, I'll be kind. I'll even let you have the lowest I'd be willing to accept, which is £20 million, but not a penny under that. And they do say, yeah, Eric, hardball Ten Hag, 20 mil, the bare minimum would have accepted, and that's what he's going to be going for. Right, let's jump into the first game of the season. We'll conclude the O'Shea transfer, whether he stays or goes to Old Trafford, and I think we'll end it on that. Community Shield, second year in a row we're here. Last year lost on pens to Manchester City. I think I dived the right way for every penalty and didn't save a single one. So if it goes that way again, you know this is going to be Chelsea's trophy, just like it was last season in the FA Cup final in a repeat of that matchup there. Chelsea in the Community Shield. Let's try and win our first in club history. Come with your words. Talk about deja vu, just like last year's FA Cup final. Really poor game between these two teams at Wembley so far. And, you know, again, you speak of deja vu. Last year's Community Shield, we were leading and then conceded with about 2 minutes to go. Granted, it was a screamer, couldn't do anything about it, and lost on penalties. And then in the FA Cup final, we did something similar, leading with a few minutes to go, conceded, and lost in extra time. As Amdouni says we're not going to let it happen for the 3rd time in a row. Zeki with the opener. Reading lead at Wembley once again. But just like last year's Community Shield, we were in this position. Just like last year's FA Cup final, we were in this position. Is it going to be another case of deja vu? I'm doing it with the opener, Reading in front. Kundu Medina takes over the halfway line. Chelsea really have not had a sniff in this game, as Reggie makes a great tackle on Mudryk. And to be fair, our defence has been really stellar. We haven't given Chelsea a sniff at all. He's on. He's on. We're on. Oh, for our first Community Shield. 7 to hold on to it. Last chance for Chelsea. Dennis is there. We'll get it away. And, oh, hang on. I see Dennis. Oh, surely. Go to the corner. Go to the corner. I know I can try and wrap it, but solid. I'm not letting it slip. Not again. First last year's Community Shield. Then the FA Cup final. And whilst I worked into the middle, it's given away. There's not going to be enough time for Chelsea to get it forward. That is going to do it. Finally, Reading have held on at Wembley. And there it is, first Community Shield in club history. I know, we know, it's not a major on it, it's a minor on it. No one looks back at their trophy haul at the end of their career and says, oh, that's the one I'm most proud of, the Community Shield. But it is still nice when you win it for the first time ever. Charity Shield in the bag. And at first, if you don't succeed, what's that saying? Try again. Reading get it done. I can't describe this, but there's also something about like a player winning a trophy on their first game, which, you know, again, only really happens when they're a new signing heading into a first game of the season, which is like the Super Cup or, you know, the Charity Shield, for example. But that's kind of cool. So Cater starts off his Reading career with a medal. There's something about that. It's a rare kind of thing that you'd ever see. But it's kind of cool, you know, to say, yeah, my first appearance as a new signing for that club was helping them win a trophy. There's something about that I really like. But anyway, so as we are into the final week before the season starts, we'll get a little bit of money in season tickets, but again, because the Medeski isn't the biggest of stadiums, it's not that much. It's only a little bit of that 5 mil, so 40 mil in the budget. But I think we are now going to see the Dara O'Shea deal go through for 20 million, and there it is. Will he be as good as John O'Shea? Will it have less time to make as much of an impact as John O'Shea did at Manchester United? But he is off to Old Trafford. A one and done for Dara was kind of on the cards really when we recalled Owen Haynes from his loan spell last January, but there we go. O'Shea off to Old Trafford, and we'll take the 20 million for him. Yeah, John O'Shea obviously came through the Manchester United Academy as Walsall want to take the Lumberjack on loan, which I'm totally fine. I might just keep him as a squad player though, to be fair, just for emergency cover. But John O'Shea, he gave Manchester United so many good years of service, such a good utility player, man. He was one of those like Manchester United Academy grads. They're not the ones you remember as the superstars forever, but believe me, players like him and Wes Brown, they were worth their weight in gold to Sir Alex Ferguson. But so yeah, there's what we've got now: 57.5 mil of wage consideration, probably around 52 mil. I might end today's episode and make a new signing, you know. Now we sold O'Shea, we will need a third choice centre half. I could bring someone just in for the emergency cover, but we've already got one in Jake Cooper. I wouldn't mind someone who just knows their role at like 78, 79 overall as a backup. And I do have someone on the shortlist too. Yep, you would have seen him earlier. The two Vandenberg brothers. Sepp has just moved on to Brentford in real life, of course. And whilst his brother Rav moved on to Middlesbrough and remains at the Riverside Stadium for now under Michael Carrick and the save, he's gone to France and joined Stade Brestois. But now he's coming to the Premier League and coming to the Champions League as well. It's the 89 jumping and the 92 strength that really draws me to this guy, mate. He's got 88 sprint speed, so whilst he's not the quickest off the mark, he'll be good enough in a high defensive line to recover, and he's also really comfortable on the ball. To put it plainly, this guy fits our system perfectly, and we should be able to get him for close to mark evaluation. If he accepts a rotation squad role, this is a steal. Yep, I haven't used the Vandenberg brothers yet, neither of them, so I'm excited to give them a go for the first time ever. We probably would need to spend slightly over the market valuation, but again, the good thing about this is that because the market valuation is so low, let's say hypothetically we pay 24, 25 mil, absolutely not, then, we're still going to have a little bit of money to play with if we do want to go after a new winger, which we are still considering. So again, we should be able to get it for close to 20 million. I'm going to remove that sell-on clause, but I'm going to up it to 20.5 mil, 3.5 mil over the market valuation. Stade Brestois say no. Okay, fair enough. We're 21.25 mil. That is 4.25. I think that's fair in today's market, and Stade Brestois agree with that as well. Let's bring him in. I'm not sure who's the better brother, but I'm quite keen on this young lad. Let's sign him in. On a lower weekly wage than Dara O'Shea, on a squad rotation role as opposed to crucial, and being several years younger than the Irish international. To me, this is a pretty decent deal. It might have cost us slightly more, but only slightly. And if he knows his role as a third choice and won't complain, then I've got no complaints either. Yeah, really excited to use him for the first time ever. Haven't used him or his brother before, and now we've got Rav in from Stade Brestois. Welcome to the Medeski Stadium, Mr. Vandenberg. Yep, 24 years old, and again, I love the strength and the jumping at 6'3". This dude is never gonna lose an aerial duel, man. He and Jake Cooper will be two trees in our back line if we end up starting them together at some point. What we'll do is get the defensive work rate up too high. I've got no concerns about the strength or the jumping, but I do want to improve that acceleration to try and match it to that high sprint speed he's got as well. But really, other than the low interceptions, I mean, there isn't really a negative. Can I get this guy's interceptions up at the same time as the acceleration? No, I don't think so. But yeah, we'll get him on the high defensive work rate first, then improve the interceptions. But this is a great sign for a third choice CB. And that'll do it for today's episode of the Summer Career Mode as well, guys. So big thank you for watching the season opener. I really hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next one with always one of my favourite episodes of a new season, the second episode of a new season, where we'll play our first Premier League games, wrap up the summer window with just over 30 mil in the budget, and still possibly one or two more signings to make, and one of my favourite parts of a new career mode season, a draw for the European group stage, as Reading are heading into the Champions League for the first time ever, and we'll see who we've been drawn against as well. Have a fantastic day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Summer Career Mode very soon.